All right, we're rolling.
All right, off to a good start.
This is Adam Baker. And Adam came in when, you came in
Second
yesterday.
day.
Yeah, you came in
Yeah.
yesterday. It's been great. We have had wonderful conversations
It's true.
and good eating, and it's been really good stay. So I want to start off first about like bikes. So we were corresponding on via email and then by phone, and then he shows up and I catch this glance up Matt at the end of the parking lot, and I had no idea what he was riding, but it was like this it was a pretty remarkable contraption. So, and then I finally figured out it was, he has a trailer. He has a composite frame. Well, it's aluminum, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's a technical frame, right? I mean,
It's more of a road bike that's just been forced and pressed into touring, but it's really I don't actually know what the material is, but it transfers shock really well, so I feel pretty much everything that I ride over. So it's not the best in the world, but it's definitely working.
okay. Like in my other interviews, someone was saying how like everybody's coming with a very individual type of ride. Like my big saying of like I've done a lot of surfing on the web, looking how I think bikes the way they're set up, and I go onto some of these sites and you see these bikes set up really beautifully with this nice equipment and everything like that. But that's not what I'm experiencing here. Not that you don't have nice equipment, it's just that people really set their stuff up very differently. It isn't like, there isn't a standard way to do this. So, Adam has a trailer, which is a very interesting piece of machinery and an interesting piece of design. And looks like a lot, though.
It's called a bob, like it's a bob trailer. I actually don't even know what the BOB stands for. I've nicknamed it my PETA for my pain in the ass, because it's this heavy, ridiculous amount of material, and it's predominantly water weight, because I'm going through the desert, and you have like 80 to 100 miles between watering holes, so you have to bring a lot with you, or you run the risk of, dying, which is unfavorable.
That's a real risk. Yeah.
But no, so you bring it along, and it trails right behind me, and it's really good. It's pretty solid aerodynamically. It's sturdy. It doesn't run into a whole lot of issues. I had one flat, and that was in Phoenix when I had 4 flats in one day. But it's actually really it's really reliable, and everything stays in. It's safe. Nobody messes with it. But it's annoying if you want one thing out of it, you have to undo the whole deal and get back into it. But it leaves an impression. Like if there's somebody who just takes a look at what you're doing and what you're riding with, they know you're going a long distance. They know that there's a story, and it's definitely a conversation starter. Plus, it's bright yellow, so it's hard to lose.
Well, it's quite a rig. It's impressive to watch. It looks pretty cool going down the road. So
it's also its own kickstand too, which is convenient.
Nice. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of touring bikes that don't have kickstands, which you would think they would, but no, it works its own way. Just jackknife it, and you can stand it up.
Yeah,
it's pretty great.
That is pretty cool. Adam's coming from LA and going to end up in Baltimore.
Yes.
Okay.
So
and
I'm taking
via
Southern Tier predominantly. I went from LA down to San Diego, and then I come across Louisiana to see my brother and visit some friends, and then I go north through the Kentucky area, and then head east along the Transamerica Trail.
And the third crazy summer man going the Southern Tier.
Southern Tier in June and July.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You were a small group of people that basically you should be given some gold star or something for doing it. It's a tough ride.
It's so hard. It's ridiculous. It's
so hard.
I'm not gonna lie. It's not like, oh no, this is great. I love this. It's nothing.
It's hot. It's hot.
Nothing like riding in 110 degree heat or 120 and
consuming vast amount of water.
And then it's not like the earth doesn't hate you enough by trying to melt you off of your bicycle. It also blows the wind in your face, because the summertime is not only hot, it's also monsoon season. So the wind just says, I'm going to go this way now, in your face at like 10 to 20 miles an hour all day long. So you're fighting it constantly, and then you end up fighting yourself. Like, why in the world am I doing this to myself nonstop? But
well, it's they say
it's an adventure.
The reason Texas sucks is because New Mexico blows. So, so that's what it is out here. And it's guaranteed.
Geographically, these things are true.
Yeah, that's true. And it's really funny. I mean, the wind really. Yeah. But I'll say, okay, you're going to end up in Baltimore, and what model bike do you have?
I see the word Yukon on it. I really don't know much about bikes, to be honest. Like
this is pretty cool too. It's just like I'm a surly guy, but everybody else is like, this is just, it's a bike. I got this.
Yeah, it's got wheels. It's got some gears,
free.
And it was free.
Yeah.
It was given to me.
I admire that.
And I was like, well, this is the option. This is the window that I have to take this opportunity,
Sure.
And you just grab that sucker.
Are you gonna hang it on your wall when you?
If I don't throw it in the bay. When I get there, I'll hang it on the wall. I'm going to be so tired of that thing, and I think the Forrest Gump beard is going to be pretty solidly well underway.
Yeah, I want to see a picture when you get there. You'll definitely look.
This is a couple of weeks of growth,
yeah.
But it should be good.
Yeah, you'll be like one of these.
Grizzled man.
So Adam also was a contact through Warm Shower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's been great. Warm Shower thing works really well. I've been just hosting single. One time it was 2 people, but actually that was prior to being Warm Shower. But it's been working really well. We have a bad reception out here. It's spotty and stuff like that. Most people coming through, or so far everybody coming through, really doesn't have the best reception. But still, we're able to get connected via internet or something like that.
I've had nothing but really good experiences through Warm Showers. They're really the best people, most hospitable hosts you can really hope for, and they surpass your expectations in every regard, both with how welcoming they can be, how quickly you become almost like family, all the things that they open up to you and then share with their community and within their family. And I've had the best conversations, I've had the best advice, I've had wonderful encounters, really, all along the way.
Let me ask you this. We talked about this a little bit earlier in our conversations, but don't you think it's a little bit different culture of those touring on bikes that are carrying all their own gear and those that are using SAG or have supports, right? I mean, I don't know why I would get a bunch of group people that have SAG wagons and would be staying here, because I don't really want to run the place with a bunch of people, but.
And then you become more of a commercial hotel than you do a sanctum or a sanctuary, if you will, for a weary traveler. It's entirely different, and the breed of person who does this on their own is entirely different. Yeah. They're self-reliant and a little bit touched in the noggin. Or to be willing to subject ourselves
why is it these people that are touched in the noggin are the people that I really admire and I'm trying to emulate, so that tells you something about me, I guess.
Well, I mean, the normal people don't tend to make history. The normal people don't write really good books. The usual person is they're just that. They're usual.
Yeah, we've had wonderful philosophical discussions about what it is that takes a person to do this sort of thing, and I think it's really interesting, and it continues to unfold. Back with Julian, it was wonderful, and Colin before, and then the couple that I had earlier this spring. I suspect maybe more would be coming in the fall when it gets a little cooler.
Yeah,
maybe they'll be the more normal type of
when the normal travel pattern opens up for the average human being. Yeah, you'll get more people that way. But you might get more regular folk that way. Yeah. So start expecting your videos and your conversations to dwindle.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Probably not.
It's probably not. I don't know. It'd be interesting.
I doubt it. I think you're going to get nothing but good people.
Yeah. On your way, you're going down 90. You're going to go the southern tier 90 through San Antonio.
Yeah.
Louisiana.
Into Louisiana. Go through San Antonio.
Do you have some apprehension about that getting more and more humid with hot weather east of you?
Well, I'm hoping, honestly, the humidity might give me a few showers here and there, and that drop the pressure a little bit, give me a little less temperature, and actually, just being sprayed with water when it's 100-something degrees sounds awesome to me. And that hasn't happened yet, but I'm waiting for it. Yeah. And maybe the wind direction not being in my face, that changing a little bit, not being in the desert, likely to die every day. Those things can all go.
I really have to say I appreciate the
that.
candor in which Adam expresses his challenges of being on a bike alone in the desert. And that's not to be taken lightly at all. I think that's the real deal. This part of the country is really beautiful. It's really powerful. It's full of extremes, demographically, as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really pretty wild.
You get some interesting folk.
Yeah, and in long spans of very desolate, lonely country. We talked about the conversation of being alone for so long and the voices in our noggins.
Oh yeah, you start talking to yourself and questioning everything that you do and everything that you are at like the core of your being happens
That's my
to be
kind of
challenged.
thinking.
Like you're just like, what is happening on the inside of the man that I am? And you're just like, I'm on a bike right now in the middle of nowhere, and now I'm having a nervous breakdown. Just keep pedaling.
Yeah.
And then you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Or you won't, and you'll just go to sleep and then figure it out the next day. But
well, as lightly as you say that, and it's just that you say that, the voice of just, it is a whole different deal when you're out there doing it. For sure, it's very powerful and a great learning experience.
It absolutely is. I definitely, anyone who wants to do not only just a bike tour, but any sort of a self-fulfilling or I guess self-searching sort of journey in any regard, to do it, to take it, and to really pay attention to yourself, the questions you ask, the answers you give, and the realizations that you make, because it's definitely already been incredibly enriching, and it's probably going to be changing my life long after I'm finished.
He's got a bike with a deep keel.
I don't even know what that means.
You know, when a person has a deep keel, is a very thoughtful.
Oh, okay.
It's usually, for boats, but it's
deep
true.
waters.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
But
I'm tired. I didn't pick up on that one.
Well, he's picked up on a lot, and we've had. I want to say I really appreciated our conversations. They've been really, really, really rewarding.
So
and
they're
hopefully
mentally refreshing.
Yeah,
they make the whole thing worthwhile. Really, like when you go for days on end without being able to talk to someone beyond, hey, I'm thirsty, here's water, or pay me for water. One of those two things. When you get to the point and you're like, well, I need water. Well, of course you do. We can discuss all the actual ramifications of person's needs and souls and functions and what it is to pursue your dreams and your arts and what separates the mind from the body, and that's food for the inside.
So what is this? Are we gonna have the bikers existential?
I think we could start it.
Kind of crew or something like that. I know we're not alone. I know that there's a lot of people as crazy as us.
A lot of thinkers.
Going through the same questions and stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of thinkers.
Well, what else? Yeah.
Honestly, we should have taped those conversations too. Those were really good. I
thought about that. That would be.
Well, no. I mean, we covered
what about your gear? I mean, what about your gear that you?
Well, I was going to say, we've covered a lot about the bike itself since we got here. Knowing that apparently my handlebars have been lower and sort of more in racing fashion, which apparently is not common for people who tour ride. Yeah. My tires tend to be a smidge thinner than most people. 2 different sizes. Yeah, I got a really fat, what is it? Gator skin for my rear wheel, which
about 32, right?
Yeah, it's a big sucker, and it's where most of the weight is between the trailer and the and me being a hefty fellow on the back of the bike. It takes all the weight, and since I got the really thick tubes and everything, I no longer run into issues with flats, which was a huge deal. Yeah.
So you got slime. Do you have liners?
Slimes. I don't have actual the rubber liner that goes into the tire itself. No.
Okay, but you use slime and you've had a lot less problems.
Yeah.
We just got I got word from Julian. yesterday on his trip, he got 7 flats. So, and that's like when you're having that many flats, you're not changing tubes out. You're actually taking your tubes and patching, right?
I had patched a couple of times, and I couldn't. It might have been operator error, but I couldn't get a patch to function for more than 10 miles.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it your temperature?
I think it's that. I think it's the nature of the tiny little piece of plastic that you're supposed to adhere with like glue, and I don't know. People are telling me I should like let it on fire as well.
I've seen that. That's an old.
Yeah.
They used to do that when I was a kid. When actually, I remember tubes in automobiles had tubes at one point, and we were replacing them. I remember watching the tire repairman do that as a kid.
Yeah. Well, no, I had 4 flats in one day where I did 131 miles. And it was miserable when you have to get off and you have to change, and it's 120 degrees in Phoenix, and you're like, I just want to get out of here, and your tires keep blowing up. So when you can avoid it and just keep functioning and keep going, your day gets so much nicer.
And you see, he doesn't have a B17.
No, I got Royal Gel. I treated my butt.
Actually,
I very comfy seat.
I did. I felt that's the saddle in it it's pretty nice.
And I do the traditional stuff. I mean, I wear the compression shorts with like the little diapers thing where you got like a little pad on your butt the whole time and a really cushy thing, and I can sit on that guy all day because I have to, and I do. And
are you a spinner or masher?
I do both. I definitely spin, and it helps me a lot for the long term. But I'll attack a hill. I'll mash, and I'll go for like
do you
10,
stand?
15 minutes. Only when like I'm really feeling it, like in my hamstrings, and I just want to put some body weight into my quads and bang up a hill.
But you don't stand very often. No.
Not too much. Just because I tend to cramp if I'm standing upright. Either hip flexor or quads will lock up when I stand for some reason. I don't know if it's just because you stretch the muscle out a little bit further and then you run the risk of it. But I also don't eat or drink phenomenally well as much as I did.
That'll
I'm learning.
Right, yeah.
I'm learning how to do that better.
Keeping hydrated is all. That's what this other
trying to make it to the end alive, staying hydrated and cognizant and mentally functional.
But it's an interesting rig he's got. It's like they say, it's just everybody's coming in with such interesting, very unique kind of rigs.
Yeah, we've been living off of DQ in Marfa too. That's definitely something you should do. You go to Southern Tier, live off of DQ. These some blizzards.
Yeah, the blizzards.
Change your life. Change your life.
Hooked on blizzards now.
It's good stuff.
Blizzard, man.
No, this is a great place. I wasn't even planning on stopping in Marfa, to be honest. I'd come through, and then when I had hooked up with his information as a place to stay, I was coming through, and I had gone through desolate town after ghost town, and then I see the Prada Marfa installation in the middle of nowhere, and I stop and I learn about the artsy nature of the town I'm headed into, and I start to see more and more interesting aspects of this tiny little community that just became more interesting and more welcoming and more enriching, and spent a few days here and don't regret it for a second.
Did you see the Playboy?
The bunny in the car, right?
Yeah,
I did see that on the way in, and
that's our latest peculiarity.
Yeah, I've heard that it's gotten some interesting reactions.
Well, they have to take it down.
They have to take it down?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I'll tell you after the interview.
All right, well, fair enough.
Extraneous to the...
Yeah, well...
I mean, it goes on. But
Yeah.
I'm just trying to keep it to... Anything else you want to talk about your bike? Or he took a good spill. He's got some good scars.
Yeah, you'll get those.
Yeah, took off to the railroad track. I had my first fall yesterday, yeah.
You got to get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Get it out of the way.
You know what I noticed about this? What I figured about when you are going over and you're clipped in.
Yeah.
You want to pull your foot up.
And not the way that you get out of the clip.
Not the way you get out of the clip. And
yes.
I watched myself do it, and I did exactly, the instinct is to get your foot off, and I just, boom.
Yeah, you're trying to go, can't do it, lock in, freak out.
Yeah, boom.
By that time you're over. It's no good.
And it's funny to be embarrassed when you're all alone.
Yeah. You get up and you brush yourself off. You're like, oh God, nobody saw me, but I feel like an idiot.
That's exactly right.
But yeah, that's what happens.
Well, Adam Baker, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anything else you can think of, or any?
No, everybody have a good time. Be safe, or don't be safe. Just have a good time.
Okay, the date is July 11th.
Yeah.
And it's 10:30, and we're gonna probably hit the sack here pretty soon. And
Sleepy time.
I'm planning on riding out with Adam tomorrow for a little bit of ride.
See you guys.
Adios. Bye bye. Stop this thing here.